Welcome back to my channel. I'm Michelle. If you guys have followed me for a while, you'll remember the bunny hutch that I made that goes outside. That is still holding up great. I should do a review and just kind of show you details on that. However, I needed something that was just a little more portable. This will be for if we go somewhere, I can take it over to a friend's house and they can watch our bunnies while we're gone. It can also be used in the winter. I can move it into our barn just so that the bunnies are completely out of the cold and a little more protected. So I wanted to do a review on it just so that you guys could get an idea of what this would be like. It's under $150, so it would be a good option for anybody that doesn't feel like building their own from the ground up. I'll give you my reviews as I walk through it, and then I'll also do a follow-up review after the bunnies have used it for a month or two, just to see how it holds up. So it comes on your doorstep in a box this size here. Not too heavy, not too hard to handle. I did have my husband help me carry it downstairs, and I will be building it in our basement here just because it's raining outside and I don't care to do it out there. In unboxing everything, I wanted to point out that they did a great job of packaging everything with material in between. Nothing came scratched or broken. Everything worked the way it should. Nothing was bent or had issues in that way that I had to rework. I also like that a lot of the assembly was already done for me. Now, there are some things I wanted to point out. I noticed that there was poop on quite a few of my pieces. There's a little bit of water discoloration and a lot of dirt and grime along the wire. In some areas, the paint was not fully covering everything. So when I first got this, I thought that I was receiving a used hutch. But I think these have been pre-assembled pieces that sit in a warehouse and then get boxed up when they're shipped out. So I believe the parts that had some poop on them were just bird poop from in a big facility, and the grime just kind of got on there a little bit, again, from just sitting in a warehouse. So not really a big deal. I was able to clean it off, no problem, and use the pieces. As I said, I like that the pre-assembly was already done. All the doors were put in and the doors fit very well, open really nicely. So all I had to do was put each of the sections together. Now the sections have letters on them so you know what pieces you're putting where. However, a lot of mine came missing stickers. So there was a little bit of guesswork and I had to really look at my instructions and look at the different pieces. So that made it a little more difficult, but again, there weren't that many pieces to deal with, so I think anybody can handle that. Now, it doesn't say to put in the tray first before you're putting on this back piece. However, I think it's really important to do. That way you don't end up putting everything together and just to find out that the tray won't fit. You'll also see that I do the same thing with the bottom tray as well. Now, I think it's important to note that this is listed as an indoor hutch. So the wood and the materials on it are not meant to withstand rain and the outdoors. So something to think about if you do plan to have this outdoors, it most likely will not hold up. One thing I really liked is that they used all natural wood that's safe for pets and a paint that's non-toxic. They also claim that the wire is really durable and made to withstand pets biting it, which will probably be done. I want to give you a look at the inside here. This top area was not totally square. Not a big deal, but you can see on the one edge there, not too much of an issue. In the back, there's a little bit of a gap. And then looking at this ladder, it just sets in there, so it's not held in. It just rests against the top and against the bottom there, which might be an issue if I pull out the tray on the bottom since it's resting on it. And I'm not sure if the bunnies will end up knocking this down at all, so it might need to be attached at some point. Now this top piece here, again, not a big issue, but if it lines up in the front, there's a gap over there on the side. So I don't think these things are showstoppers, but I did want to point it out. Some of the wood is just a little bit warped, and so it doesn't fit completely perfect. It's also really thin wood, so it tends to kind of warp and move on you a little bit more. However, I like that it's so light that I can easily move it around. One other thing to point out here is that if you pull out either of the trays, there is nothing below them. So if you go to clean out that top area, you may have a bunny that goes up the ladder and falls all the way down to the bottom. Or if you go to clean out the very bottom and you pull out that tray, there's a chance that the bunnies could get out where the tray is. So I think I'm going to just have a piece of wood handy, and I'm going to lock the bunnies in the top area when I clean that bottom area. And then I'll put them in the bottom area and lock them out when I clean just that top tray. And it's all put together. Checking out the rollers, and I just am making sure that the doors open, and they open perfect. All right, all that's left to do now is to move one of the bunnies over and see how well she likes her new hutch.
Pushing team moving.
So the move was successful. There were no injuries. However, she seems to be figuring out where she fits in on the food chain, and I'm not sure we want her figuring that out. All right, now that it's all built, I wanted to walk you through first the things that I liked about this hutch, and then I'll go through just some things that you'll want to watch for or know about before you purchase it. So it's affordable, number one. I like that. I like that it's easy to move around since it's on rollers, and I like that it's light. So with two people, you could easily move it if you needed to, which is something my other hutch is not. I like that the doors seem to fit really nicely. They aren't pinched. They aren't off center. There's nothing I had to tweak about them. I really like that. I like the pull-out drawers here and here. It should be pretty easy to clean out. And I like that they're a plastic material rather than metal, which might rust over time. The wire, everything seems in good shape, not bent. The wood wasn't dinged. I didn't have any issues with any of the wood being cracked or broken. I like that this area opens up so that you can easily access this area. It even has something to hold it open so that you can hold it open while you're putting in your food or doing anything with the bunnies in here. I also really like this outdoor area here. My bunnies love to be out in the sun, so this is a great area for them to be out in the sun anytime they want, but still protected. The last thing I really like up here is that this has 4 sides, so they can go in and feel safe and protected. Now, overall, I feel that the hardware, the screws, I'm not sure if they're really top of the line. Now, I haven't used it to really test them out, but time will tell on those, I guess. I can't really give too much information on those. I don't have high hopes that these will be that good if they're in the elements at all, but I'll let you know. Now, some of the things just to be aware of. As I've said before, parts of this don't line up quite as they should. So, as I talked about, this lid, when it shuts, you have to move it to the side to actually get it to shut. Now, the reason for that is because this area in here is not a perfect square. So some of these boards have warped just a little. So when you put them together, you'll see inside that there are areas where there are small gaps. Now, I don't know that that will really affect my bunnies at all, but something to note. Then this panel, when I put on, as you remember, it didn't line up exactly. So it's a little off here to make it line up on the top back here. Now these little latches here are just held by the screw. So as you use them over and over again and they loosen up, I am pretty sure what's going to happen is they're going to just fall open. So that is something that you'll want to either watch for or change these, put something here, maybe a piece of wood right underneath it, just so that it can't fall down and they can't get out. This top, it might be a good idea to put a latch in here as well, just so that if you do have dogs or something that you're worried might get into your bunnies, so that they can't pop it open to get into the bunnies. Now the wood choice on here is really thin, which is good because it makes it light. But I don't know if it will hold up all that well over time. So just something I guess to note. The wood on here is not real high quality and it's about 1/4 inch everywhere. So it's not real thick. You're not going to be providing much heat or protection, I guess, from the elements. And lastly, the paint coating on it is not done real well. So your boards are not that protected from anything. So if you wanted to paint it, it might help it stand up better over time. Or like I say, I'll just see how it wears and let you know.